Now this time, let's create a header. Okay, so let's go back to our code editor. By the way, class, kining inyong nakita nga mga content adto tani ibutang sa body element or inside the body tag. Now I am going to use div tag. Div tag is known as division tag or black level tag. So si div tag class mao'y pinakagamit nga tag in web development. Why? Because div tag helps you to separate out data in the web page. Okay, so by using this tag, you can create a particular division or particular section for a particular data or function in the web pages. Like maghimo kag header, okay, footer, navigation bar, create kag division para sa imong mga images or text. Okay, si div tag class, it is a generic container tag, so it has both opening tag and closing tag. So inside of our div tag, I'm going to put an attribute. Okay, the name of the attribute is class. That way I will be able to write a CSS rule to select that class. So I'm going to name my class as box. Okay, so you can name your class anything you want, but it is advisable to name your classes for the content they describe. Okay, so since we are creating for a header, so my class name would be box, okay, or let's say box area. Okay, something described to your header. Okay, so same syntax with this one. Okay, the element, the attribute, and the value or the class name. Okay, so that's the syntax. So tip lang, the class attribute can be used on any HTML element. So, I'm also gonna indicate another div tag here for my background image. Okay, I will name this one as dev class is equal to bg image, background image. Ayan. So here in my web page, I used two major division tag. This one, okay, this part, and the other one is for my background image. And also, in this part, the header, na ako diri mga subdivision tag, like this and this. Okay, so I have to separate. How are we going to do that? By using div tag. So save your work, class. Every after 5 minutes, save your work. Control S. Okay, let's check our page. Of course, wala pa'y sulod. So, atong sudlan. Let's declare H2 or heading 2. explore life. Control S. Check your web page. Yan. Okay, this time let's create a header. So under aning dev class box area, diri nato isud ang header tag. Header tag is a container tag. So let's put this one a closing tag. Now this time, I'm gonna use CSS, specifically external style sheet. So there are three types of CSS class. The first one is the inline CSS. Second one is the internal or embedded CSS. And the third one is the external CSS. Here in my web page, I used external style sheet. Later, I will discuss the inline and internal or embedded CSS. For now, let's focus on what is external CSS and how are we going to implement this kind of CSS, the external CSS. Okay, so for the information of everybody, CSS or cascading style sheet is the language that is used for defining the presentation of web page. Okay, so CSS will help you class in terms of defining your text alignment, okay, color, font, what else? Size, spacing, borders, layout, okay, ug uban pang mga typographic characteristics. Okay, so this time, let's make a CSS file. External style sheet. Save your CSS file. So kung asa to nga folder ang imong HTML file, adto sab nimo sulod ang imong CSS file. Okay, so mag-uban silang duha. Okay, later ato na siyang i-link. You can name your CSS file in any name you want, but I'm gonna name this as style.css. Okay, so makabantay mo ani class kaning style.css because it's a sort of a default name for naming a style sheet. Okay, so I suggest you rename like this way. Okay, don't forget the .css, the extension. Okay, save that one. Let's check our web page if may effect siya. Okay, so wala pa ni effect. It's because wala pa man nato gi-link ang CSS file. So we need to link the external CSS file inside of our HTML document. So how are we going to do that? Okay, so here in our head tag, inside of the head tag, we're gonna declare link rel is equal to style sheet type is equal to text or CSS href. So what's the name of your external style sheet? So yung mo na siyang i-call, okay? Style.css. Save your work. And then let's check our web page. Again. Take note, CSS syntax will be selector, then followed by open curly brace. So kung natin open curly brace, so we need to close that one. And then inside of this curly braces are the property and value. Okay, height, background, and width, these are property. Okay, property 1 with its value, 100 pixel ang height. Background, okay, property 2, its value. Property 3, 100%, this is the value, and so on. We can also change this background class into hex color code. Adto ka sa color pick. Okay, so daghan kag mapilian ang mga angayan nga color. You can search from the web like mga RGB color code. Okay, let's try. Okay, so diri a class, pwede mo makapili. We're going to pick the color you want. Okay. Okay, so example, just copy the code. Go back to your HTML code editor. Number sign. Then 252525. Okay. So Control S. Okay. So you can choose any color. Okay. You have to pick. Yan. Be sure nga dili sakit sa mata. Okay. And makabantay mo class, naa siya yung mga spaces sa kilid. Okay. Unlike 3 so gi-occupy yun ni header ang space. So how are we going to do that? Okay, this time we need to declare a margin. Okay. Okay, so Control S, go back to your work, your web page, refresh. Okay. So here class, I'm using the selector. Of course, we need to follow the syntax. The selector is the asterisk. Okay, what's the function of the asterisk? Okay, this selector is very useful when you want to select all the elements on the page. Okay, so selector, then open curly brace, and then the value, the property, and the value. So akong gi-zero ang iyang margin. Okay, para ma-occupy. Okay, I'm also gonna use padding class. So the value of my padding is 0. I don't want any space between my content and the border, because kini si padding class, it is the space between its content and the border. Okay, as you can see, I have here the image on imong content. Okay, the padding is the space between your content and the border. So kung ganahan kag extra space within an element, okay, you just have to specify the value class. Okay, imong padding area, let's say 20 pixel, and let's say 50 pixel. Control S, check your web page, refresh. Okay, so mao ni siya ang epekto. So kung duha ka values ang imong i-specify, okay, so the first value applies to the top and bottom between its content and its border, while ang second value, which is 50 pixel, this applies to the left and right. Okay, so the second padding will apply to the left and right. So kung usara ka value, let's say 0, Control S, save, refresh, ayan. So kung usara ka value ang gi-specify nimo, so it applies to the same padding to all 4 sides. Okay, and kung you can also have 3 values. Okay, you can specify 3 values. The first padding applies to the top, the second to the right and left, okay, and the third is to the bottom. You can also specify 4 values in your padding. Kung ako nasipyat, top, right, bottom, and left. Muna siyang iyahang order sa 4 values. Okay?